Hey guys, Gerard Scarpese here, craft hairdresser and co-founder of the Hairbrain community. I'm my own guest today. Got a special presentation for you guys. Hand drying, the art of hand drying, being able to work with hair with just your hands and using a diffuser attachment to bring out beautiful curl and wave. I think it's never been more appropriate than now. The way that haircuts are coming across and the way that people are styling and what they're accepting, I think now's the moment for it. So with our good friends at Dyson, I'm doing a little special class today on hand drying. So I've got 3 different models you can see here at various lengths, and I'm going to be featuring the Dyson Supersonic. We're going to talk about the diffuser and some exciting new attachments, which I'm going to open for you right here on camera and introduce you to. 2 very exciting attachments here. But let's get started with the technique. So first, going through the roots on this long razor layer, using a little bit of volume and texture spray at the roots. Then coming through the mids and the ends, using a nice curl cream here. Really working it together in my hands. Obviously, natural drying doesn't mean doing nothing to the hair. I think it means actually doing quite a bit of work and prep to the hair. And half of that has to do with getting the product in, then using the dryer and the attachments appropriately to get the finish that you want here. I do feel that more people have wave in their hair than we'd ever even imagine. People have movement. I think very few people have perfectly straight hair. And I think that that's why it's something that's so popular at the moment, because people are trying to embrace it, and really the style of hair cutting being a little bit looser and more textured. Sometimes when it's all perfectly straight, that's a beautiful option, but sometimes you lose all that beautiful, unique character in the hair. So really pushing the product in, you'll see I start to cup it and squeeze it into the head here.
Got our first question from Kristen Collins.
Hi, Kristen.
She's asking what mannequin this is.
Oh, this is a Pivot Point Vanessa. We work exclusively with Pivot Point mannequins, and this is a beautiful, long, luscious head of hair. It's a Pivot Point Vanessa. Now, one of the tips I'd like to give you guys, if you come straight from the backwash and the hair is soaking wet, use a nice piece of thin paper towel or a microfiber towel to take out the excessive moisture. You never want to start drying and styling and applying product to extremely, extremely wet hair. In this case, we've been sitting here in the studio for a few minutes, so the mannequins are at a nice pace. They're wet, damp, but not dripping wet. I've applied the product. Now I'm going to apply the Dyson diffuser attachment. This thing is fabulous. It's the best kind of diffuser, an open basket with fingers, and it's a magnetic attachment. It just clicks right in magnetically. Now when you think about heat settings, this being a digital dryer, what's nice is you can really control the settings. So once you turn it on, that's high air, high heat. So I'm going to turn the air down to medium, and I'm going to keep the heat on high to start my diffusing. And throughout this demonstration, we'll talk about it. Now I'm going to use gravity as much as possible here. So first, I would tilt my client's head forward. And what I want to do here is start to dry in at the root. I want to get the airflow, just pinching and focusing on close to the head in at the root. Keep that head angled forward. And what that does is it allows those roots to move away so you can get airflow in there. Notice also how the airflow goes down the rest of the section. I'm not really worried too much about the middles or the ends yet. I'm really focused on the roots. And I'll use head position to move around and get into those roots. So first it's all forward, downward air, forward direction, really getting in close to the scalp. If you're just joining me, I'm Gerard Scarpese, and I'm sharing with you guys today the art of natural drying, working with my Dyson Supersonic, and I'm going to use at least 2 of the attachments today and introduce you to one of the new exciting ones. We'll do a little reveal here. I'm working with the Dyson diffuser. Another thing I love about the dryer is the extra long cord. You can see how much cord I have here. I believe it's 12 feet long, which gives me lots of room to play around. Okay, Now I want to move to another position. I want to access the roots now by turning the head away from me on the side like so. So again, if this was my client, I would just ask them to go over once, go to the left, go to the right, and then possibly even go back. And as I do this, I just use a pinching motion. And I just pinch and grab the root. Pinch and grab the root. Coming in here, drawing in at the root, lifting. Always trying to keep the airflow going downward. You know, sometimes you might go up, but it can produce more frizz. Trying to keep the airflow going down the hair shaft. Just like if you're blow drying hair straight. Using the hands, but gently. I'll get the hands in a little bit more once the roots are dry. Now going in the opposite direction. Lifting the hair up over the head, not disturbing it. So there is an art to touching it without pulling through. Never pulling through or really disturbing the hair in any way. Starting to shake.
You're getting so many hellos. Michael Snyder, Ivan. I think
Great to have everybody joining us here, and it's great to be my own guest today. We have Randy Taylor behind the camera, which is, I'm in Orange County today, so Randy took a drive down, and it's nice to have, I don't know how many we've done before together. We're always on different parts of the world doing different things. So we got the whole team, Randy Taylor, co-founder of the Hair Brain community. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about the roots now. I feel like I've got them dried off enough. I might do one final movement now with the head back. So if you're in the salon, you go forward, left, right, and back. And what this does is just allows that hair to move in different directions and to get that root naturally dry.
I forgot to pass on a hello from Sid.
Great, nice to have Sid here, all the way from England, I'm sure.
Yep.
I was hoping to come to Salon International this year and see all my friends in England, but I don't think it's going to happen. I got booked for an exciting gig that we'll be talking about soon. Okay, so
Kristen says she doesn't specifically have the Dyson, but does this apply with other dryers?
Yeah, the techniques work great with any dryer, but there's definitely some major benefits to the Dyson. That digital control over the air, the fact that if it's a super smart dryer. So if you're damaging or heating the hair up too much, it'll turn down the temperature. And then the diffuser on here, it's really my favorite diffuser I've ever worked with. Okay, so now to get into the middles and the ends, I'm gonna use a light oil spray just to break up a little bit of the hold. So up to this point, getting it from wet to dry, I want hold in the hair so the hair doesn't get kind of carried away from me and too big and too fluffy and too frizzy. At this point, I want to start to break down the hold a little bit. So using a light oil-based spray and my hands. Now again with the diffuser, I'm going to go on very low air and medium heat. I don't want to blow this hair around at all. I want to kind of bake the shape in. So the crunch from the product is really a lot lessened now. Now if you watch this little technique, I'm going to use my finger and bend, my finger and bend. And I'm going to put that in the hands, form of scrunch drying, but I find it kind of gets more of a wave instead of trying to traditionally scrunch to bring out curl. And you can see what that does there. Finger and bend, finger and bend. Heat it up. Again, low airflow, medium heat. And look, it's right on my hands and it's not burning. So it's just the amount, important when you do this type of drying to communicate with your client. Yeah, the dryer is super smart, but it's not going to communicate for you. So you have to ask, does that heat feel okay? Let me know if at any time it gets a little too hot on your scalp. All that stuff really super important. So,
Heather Durbin is asking if you know what the price of that dryer is.
I don't know the exact price, but you can go to Dyson.com. I know that there is, this is the supersonic professional version, and I know that there is definitely some special programs for professionals. I've been using it now for over a year, and I've been very, very happy with the results. I work in a salon in New York where everybody uses one, and called spoken wheel, and that's fantastic. Everybody's working with Dysons all the time. So I've seen the performance really up close and personal. Now again, if you know me, I mostly do natural drying, this type of drying. But in the salon, there are plenty of people using round brushes, using flat brushes, and again, there's different attachments. If you're doing traditional blow drying with a round brush or a flat brush, check out the Dyson nozzle. This is the Pro nozzle, so it's designed specifically for pros. What's really nice about it is it rotates. I'll put it in here really quick so you can see. Again, a magnet, super strong magnet, so it won't pop off, and it rotates. And this is a material that won't burn your fingers. So you can see how it's kind of grated on the edge, so you can turn it and move it around. And I'm going to introduce you, if you've just joined us, we've got 2 brand new attachments, so stick around so we can see those and talk about them. Okay, so continuing through with my natural dry. Again, the lengths and the ends, I call it folding the wave. Coming in, a little bend, look at the wave pattern and work with it. Working on the bangs a little bit. There'll be a little more work that I'll be doing here later, because when I get this hair to almost completely dry, I'm going to slip in a few pins. Strategic pins around the face frame, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Drying. Again, that digital control over the airflow is amazing. And it happens immediately as soon as you touch the buttons. I can turn it up. That's a little too hot. That's way too much air. Now I can feel it on my hand. I've turned it all the way down to the lowest air setting, medium heat. And that's usually what you want for diffusing. You want heat, but you don't want airflow. And you can see there's no air blowing this curl around, making it frizzy, which is super important. This is a long razor layer with a little bit of a curtain bang. Probably one of the most popular cuts at the moment right now. And this is a very complimentary way of styling this type of a look. We're seeing this all over. The long shag, the kind of bohemian hair. I think it's more appropriate than it's ever been. And I think that the Dyson Supersonic with this diffuser attachment is really appropriate for it. All right, going through one more time, making sure I've got all the heavy moisture out. Then I'm going to put down the dryer for a moment, and I'm going to do some setting around the face, and then I'll pick up the dryer. So we're going to turn this guy off for just a minute here, and we're going to move in with these fun little curl clips, and they've got a little piece of rubber on them so that they don't indent the hair too much. So I'm going to start to, again, shape the hair the way that I want.
Sharon right now?
What's that?
You're channeling Sharon?
Always. Sharon Blaine, my mentor, one of my many mentors. Coming in. I don't know if she'd be so happy for me to say that, knowing that I am not the world's best classically styled hairdresser. But you can see I'm making a little bend, putting that in. Yep. Now I'm going to do 2 on the opposite side. Just to get that nice curtainy kind of kick away from the center. We want to enhance it. The hair's almost dry. I'm going to say it's in this bang area, mostly in the 80 plus zone of being dry. And then we're going to get that last little bit using a fun new attachment. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Here's a little preview. It's the gentle airflow attachment. But first we want to put a couple more loose curls here in the face frame. So curling toward the face on both sides. Just to be consistent. So that goes towards the face. I'm going to run around to the opposite side. I'm going to try to do one that corresponds. And remember that I want to do them the same on both sides, going towards the face. Getting some of those little ends in there. and clipping. And I'll follow that face frame down, coming down a little bit further, and remembering towards the face. Now you can also do away from the face. It's just about being consistent from side to side.
I imagine clients really love this too because it's something they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own philosophy with clients, and I think what they pay me for is a great haircut, something that they can't do. And that great haircut is meant to live and grow in super well and to be styled very easily. So I think hand drying, showing people this type of work, makes clients think, I could do that, with the right tools, the right products, just a little bit of time, because it doesn't take super long, I could do that. I think, and you bring up a great point there, Randy, I think sometimes we think, I have to make this huge transformation for the client to be happy, where it always makes me think of a story. Two of the best hairdressers I ever worked with were two Italian brothers, and they could cut hair beautifully, and they could blow dry hair like it was nobody's business. They'd been doing it since they were children. Their mom owned a salon. And they would do beautiful, simple haircuts, and then they would blow dry those haircuts like you wouldn't believe. They had more returns and complaints than anyone I ever worked with before. And I was the art director, so I'd have to go through these haircuts, and these haircuts would be perfect, but the client was so disappointed because it had looked a certain way and it never looked that way again. So, again, some clients will need that, but some won't, and that's where beautiful, gentle drying comes in. Now this is a new attachment, brand new, unboxing it on camera here. This is the gentle air attachment. So what this does, and again, this is one of the things that's been so great about working with Dyson. They're listening to hairdressers and listening to guests. So this is with no nozzle on it. And when you turn it on, even on the lowest setting, which is digital control there, some people felt it was still too much airflow. Yeah, too hot or too much airflow. So what did Dyson do? They created this gentle air attachment, again, magnetic, it goes right on like that. And what that does is it takes quite a lot of that airflow down, yeah, in a very easy way. So it's great for this kind of natural drying.
So it has more airflow than it would with the diffuser, but less airflow.
That's exactly right. More airflow than the diffuser, but less than without the attachment. So here I've set it down on the lowest setting, heat at 1, airflow at 1, so I can get real close to the hair and really make sure I get the final bits of moisture out here.
Joan is saying this has taken her back, 40 years when she first started.
Yeah,
It's just such a cool style.
Hairdressing is a reciprocal thing. Things keep coming back and giving more, and then we build on it each time. In the older days, maybe you would do something like this and put your client under the dryer. Where now, having so much diversity with a tool like this, you don't necessarily have to put them under the dryer. I can get this effect. I can still spend quality time with my client. They don't feel like I've sent them off to no man's land to dry, but just a great little way to take it to the next level. Now, you could also do this with the diffuser attachment. If you wanted to make sure there was no airflow whatsoever, then you could come back to the diffuser attachment, still check your settings. So there's some options there. You can also, I'm going to use the gentle attachment again at the end when I want to loosen the hair up. When I want to kind of blow it around a little bit. So there's some options there. There's still one other new attachment that we're going to talk about in a minute. Super exciting, especially for those of you who really want to manage hair and transform texture.
Do we sell those clips?
These clips we currently don't have on Hairbrain Pro, but we will very soon.
Rob Law is saying that he loves those clips.
Yeah, we're going to have them on Hairbrain Pro really soon. Because I've been using them a lot, and I think that they're great. Because what they do, it doesn't put a crease in the hair.
Yeah.
Okay? So, not afraid to touch the hair as long as I'm not pulling on it. Really making sure that hair's dry. See, that heat is fine because we're on the lowest setting, so I can get my hand in there without burning it. That means it's not going to burn the client. Really have a lot of control here. Okay, while that cools down, I'm gonna apply a little bit more of a spray oil, and I'm gonna switch back to the gentle air nozzle. Again, I'll let that front cool down. It's important whenever you put some kind of a set into the hair to allow it to cool. And I'm gonna get this head back.
She ought to go to the beach after this.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, a little bit of an oil spray or whatever your favorite product is to break down hold. Could be a little silicone based or oil based or something like that. Now, getting my hands in there, low air, low heat, and again, breaking that up. I don't want crunchy hair. You know, sometimes you have to put a little crunch in the hair to really set it and control it, but I very rarely let somebody walk out crunchy, unless they know that, hey, in a couple hours, they're gonna shake it out themselves. So now all the crunch is out of the hair, getting some movement in that curl and wave. Now we want to come back and start to take these guys out. Maybe put a little more air on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, easy to do, easy to teach your client to do. And it'll give this a little bit more polish. So even though a lot of the texture is quite loose, and some people might even think it's wild in a good way, wild like Stevie Nicks, you can get a little bit more polished around the edges. Same over here, a little more air on there. Coming through, stretching. And working my way through. Don't be afraid to get your hands in there. That's why it's called hand drying. And with this gentle air attachment, brand new from Dyson, even on the lowest setting, it makes for even less airflow, less heat, less airflow. So it's a super gentle attachment for doing this type of work with your hands. Let's get out this last pin, and we'll finish up this first style.
You know, another thing I really appreciate about the Dyson is just its size. You know, you're taking these clips out with the dryer in your hand. You seem like have put it down very often.
Oh yeah, the size and the weight is incredible, especially for the amount of power that it packs. It's a really beautiful tool. Again, I've been working with it now exclusively for over a year.
Ivan loves the haircut.
Yeah, it's just a long razor layer, a little bit of detail around the face here, in the cutting and in the styling. Getting a little bend into those ends there. I'm going to come back with just a tiny bit more of the curl cream, just a tiny little bit of a curl cream on my fingertips, just to kind of push into these ends even that much more.
Lots of compliments coming in about the haircut.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little cut, simple. It's part of my kind of razor innovative cutting class. I think it's a very timeless haircut, but also a very current cut. Okay, speaking of current cuts, let's move along. We're gonna switch, we're gonna do a bunch of little styles here. Now we're going into a shorter shape. This is a bob shape that's lots of kind of shag layers. I think people tend to call these lately kind of French bob. I'm gonna work on this one using a little bit of a salt spray from roots to ends. Just lifting, getting in at the root, roots to ends. And here we're gonna go for a little bit more volume to really bring out the shape and bring out the kicks and the flow in the shape. I'm gonna get in at the root with a little bit of the curl cream to give a little tiny bit more hold. So I'm gonna massage this right in. Again, if the hair was very, very wet, I would have used either a microfiber towel or a paper towel because, you know, styling soaking wet hair is never good. You want the hair damp but not dripping wet. Soaking wet hair is not going to respond too well. Yep. Now kind of getting some of that curl cream on my fingers and pulling it through. So here we've worked with a combination of a sea salt type spray, a texture spray, curl cream really massaged into the roots. This one is it's a mixture of almost a gel and a cream. Those are some of my favorite curl creams, where it's got a gel and a cream together. So massaging into the root and then also coming through the ends. Really, really kind of defining what we want to see happen here. Again, defining. Okay, so now coming back in, I'm going to switch from the gentle attachment back to the diffuser attachment. We'll probably switch back to the gentle at the end. And again, I want to start to get in here first at the roots. If you want volume, you've got to get the roots dry first. If they're wet and flat, it's hard to get volume in there. So
I noticed that you have a specific root direction heading straight from the crown forward.
Yeah,
that's on trend, right?
Well, for me, it's even beyond trend. It's how I always work with hair. I work with hair the way it falls naturally. Another thing that I believe is for anyone to look younger and fresher in their hairstyle, they should work with hair's natural direction. Whenever hair is forced, I mean, it can be done very beautiful and glamorously, but for kind of low impact styles, if you force it, if I say I'm going to go this way and that's going to go that way, it always ages the look to me. So again, if it's done 100% all the way, Marilyn Monroe waves, you know, it can be fabulous. But if you're doing something casual like this, which the first word is natural drying. So the first thing you want to do is try to find the way that the hair grows, cut it in that way, because those are always the best haircuts. Haircuts that really flow with the way the hair grows naturally. So here, deliberately picking it up and bending so that the root has a little pop to it. Picking it up, bending. Picking it up, bending. Really getting that root up off the head. All the way through in its natural flow. You know, the filter for the Dyson is here, so you don't want to put your hand on here. You want to hold up a little further, and it's got a perfect balance. It's very weighted very, very well. I can almost hold it just with 2 fingers as I work, which is great. Turn it a little bit. I'm going to carry that on through the bottom, lifting, getting into the root. Now with shorter hair like this, you know, the ends are going to take care of themselves. You know, with the longer one we did, we had to go into a second phase to dry the ends. Here, if you focus on the root, the end will dry itself pretty quickly. Get in here, lifting. You know, I may even at a point like this, ask my client to give their head a good shake. So I know that this is a mannequin, obviously, but she can shake her head too. So sometimes I would ask them, give it a good shake, just so we can get that movement, make sure it's not too contrived. And then I would go back and continue.
That's great.
Yeah, this has a bit of a grittier texture to it because of the salt spray. It's a kind of a beachy texture, which I love. And really focusing on that little bending movement, bending and pushing, bending and pushing. And again, bringing out the haircut. This was razored, using razor graduation and razor face framing, combining together to make what I think is a very modern but timeless look. And I think these type of looks, this type of finishing is really having its moment. Everything goes around. We went through very, very straight ironed hair, and we went into very, very curling ironed hair. And I think we're finally starting to see some natural hand drawing. And I think that the Dyson, pretty much everyone that I see doing that through social media and in classes is doing it with the Dyson. So it's one of those things where a great tool makes a huge difference to make something like this possible. Okay, almost dry there. Again, now I'm going to put a little bit of oil, spray. I always like a little bit of oil when the hair is close to dry, just to break down any of the hold. So I don't like crunchy hair, I want it to move.
Elisma is asking, do you plan on teaching these haircuts for a live?
Do I plan on teaching them for a while?
For a live.
Most of these have been taught in one way or another. Okay. And I will teach them again. I teach them in classes every weekend. These are my 3 current cuts. The long razor layer, the kind of mid-length French bob, and then last up but not least, I'll show you the contemporary pixie. I will teach them again on a live. But if here's something that a lot of people don't realize, you can go through to Facebook, Hairbring's Facebook page, and you can click on the video tab, and you can see all the lives that have ever been done. So most of these I've touched on in one way or another. I think some of these haircuts might have even been done on a live, and then I just kind of.
Do you have a playlist for your razor cuts for that?
There is a playlist for my razor, for Fundamental Razor. And then, hey guys, if you want to go in even a little deeper and get a real incredible learning experience, check out hblive.me, which is our full in-studio classes with 5 cameras, multiple angles, incredible sound. But yes, and then, I do teach these classes all over the country every week as well.
If somebody wanted to book a class with you, how would they do that?
You can reach out to me on Instagram. I think that's always the best way. It's Gerard Scarpese, my name on Instagram. It's right there in the title. So here you can see I'm using the gentle attachment.
Oh, you switched that and I didn't even see it.
I switched it, yep. And again, magnetic attachment, brand new attachment from Dyson. This was the official unboxing here. Also magnetic, just pops right on. And what this does is, even on the lowest setting of low heat, low air, this dials it down even more. So you can do this kind of freeform stuff without disturbing the hair. Or if someone's really gentle and maybe doesn't like too much heat, that's a great option as well. All right, that's a simple one. I just wanted to show you some nice hand drying on this kind of French bob shape. We're going to move her to the back. She looks great.
Beautiful,
oh, thank you. Okay. Now moving into this contemporary pixie here. Again, this one almost dry, a little bit damp. I'm going to dampen it using a little bit of a setting spray. And right away, I'm going to go back into my pin curl clips. That's dampened it just enough. Now I'm going to look at the pattern here. Looking at the pattern of the wave. And this is going this way. And this is going this way.
So you're clipping in the trough of the wave.
Yes, that's correct. So what this is going to produce is a low volume, but highly wavy look. And again, something that anyone can do, even a client, if they just kind of start to look at the direction of their wave, could be done really, really nicely. This was a razor undercut with a slightly disconnected top. And I think we're seeing a lot of this right now with the pixie. So there's a disconnection of what kind of falls over the sides.
So these clips help to keep it compact?
It keeps it compact while it dries and also enhances the bend in the wave.
Cool.
Right? So you can see there's no wrong way to do this. It's just seeing the pattern. Seeing the pattern in the wave and going into, as Randy says, the trough of the wave, bending in. Again, I'm going to switch back to my diffuser attachment. Beautiful diffuser attachment, my favorite open basket with fingers. Now I had a phone call just this week with Dyson, and again, what I love about these guys is they're listening to hairdressers, they're listening to consumers. Everyone loves this diffuser, but they want to figure out how to make it even better. So they're making the basket a little bit deeper, the fingers a little bit longer. And there's like a netting in here, or a screen, and they're adding a little bit more of that screen so you get a better diffusion of air. So what I already think is the best diffuser is gonna get better. I'm gonna go to low airflow and high heat. I'm gonna hold it up a little bit higher. Sometimes I'll put my hand in just to make sure it's not too hot, or of course I'll ask my guest. Now I don't have to worry about damaging the hair because it's a smart dryer, and if it senses that the hair is getting too hot, it will cool itself down. So here, really just baking it in, using the fingers. I also just love the way that it looks personally. And you know, anything you do behind the chair that's exciting for the client to talk about is exciting. If they've never done this before, they're gonna say, why, how, should I do that? And then guess what? You've got something to talk about with their friends. And that's how you build your business. You do great work and you keep it interesting. And this is not complicated. This is a simple little thing that I did here. But I think you'll see that the effect is wonderful. Again, we'll get close, make sure it's not too hot. If I did feel that it was getting too hot, I could easily just turn it down. If my client says it's too hot, or, yes, Randy, question.
Yeah, Linda's asking where she can get the dryer and the diffuser.
Yeah, Dyson.com. You can go, just Google Dyson. Now this is the Pro model. If you're a hairdresser, you want the Pro model. It comes with an extra attachment right here, which is a Pro nozzle. It's also got a consumer nozzle, which is a little wider. It's got an extra long cord, and it's got a Pro warranty. So you want to definitely get the Pro one.
And then if you do order, you want to order the diffuser separate, or it comes with it?
Diffuser comes with it.
Okay.
Yeah, diffuser comes with it. These new specialty tools are sold separate. We're going to talk about this guy in a minute. This is the extra wide comb. And then this is the gentle air diffuser. These are sold separately, but you can also get those at Dyson.com. But the Pro one comes with the diffuser, the Pro nozzle, and the wider nozzle. Some people like the wider nozzle for hand drying. I think once you see the gentle air attachment, you'll really like that as well. All right, making sure that this is dry. I think it is. Now I'll start to take out my clips. And you'll see this beautiful, the wave pattern was already there, I just enhanced it and prevented the hair from getting too full or puffy. So we've got a little bit of a flat, modern wave. So using the setting spray, I've got a little crunch in the hair. Now I don't particularly, you can leave it crunchy if she understands that maybe throughout the day, shake it out a little bit. But if you want it to be perfect right now, you want to find some product that softens it. So I'm using just a light oil spray. And getting my hands in there to soften that immediately. Keeping these guys in for a little bit longer to really get that little headband effect from the front of the pixie. You see the profile here. Add a little bit of product to the shorter hair. And just quickly dry that in with my fingers. Razor undercut with a disconnection in the top. And a little bit of what we're calling, a lot of people are calling kind of a curtain.
That is such an adorable haircut.
Yeah. That little bit of extra length here in the corners, I think is what makes it a very beautiful current look. So this little bit of extra in here and in here.
It almost looked like her hair grew into this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a great haircut should look like. It's one of the reasons why I like razor cutting, is you can really work with the hair and what it does. So not afraid to get my fingers in there now and loosen up any of the excessive hold that we've gotten from the setting spray. A little bit more of an oil spray. So for me, it's generally hold at the roots, maybe a little bit of a different hold on the ends, then kind of bake it in, then loosen it up. I put some oil, putting the gentle attachment back on, making sure I'm on the lowest setting, and now moving that hair around a little bit. Okay, that's my third look. I'm going to pull back. Now the thing about natural drying is if you can come back and play with the hair a little bit after it's settled down, that's a great thing. So we'll come back here and with the gentle attachment, working, a little bit more oil. So we build up the hold, we get the curl and the wave where we want it, and then we break it down. So our first lady. Second. A little bit more oil. All of these products were hold based at first, either a curl cream or setting spray or a salt spray, and then breaking it down once it's dry with a light oil spray. Again, getting some movement into the hair. Bring all these ladies up front here. Hello to you. Hello to you. You got me in here. Let's see. Here I am. There's my Dyson Supersonic. Thank you, Dyson, for the continued support of Hairbrains. Dyson being a sponsor allows us to do great education like this and all the things that we do every week. Now I'm going to go out with a little bit of a teaser. This is something a lot of you guys are going to be super excited about. You can see the box here. The wide tooth comb attachment. So, you know, in the past, a lot of us have worked with a pick attachment on a blow dryer. So unboxing this for the first time here. Lovely. Look at this guy. This thing's heavy duty. That's one thing I can tell you for sure. You know, I've owned lots of Dyson appliances over the years, and you can tell the quality. It feels really heavy duty, just like the attachments for the vacuum cleaner. Now look at this. It's got this length here that goes inside the dryer so that isn't going to go anywhere. Now, I'm not going to use this today because we're going to save it for the next time when we can talk about how to straighten and polish hair using the new wide tooth attachment. Thanks again, Dyson. Thanks guys for watching. Peace out.